10 o'clock, welcome in. We are officially 7 days away from Christmas Day. Landrum Roberts, Conrad Van Order, Molly Robinson hanging out. Pat's back with us tomorrow. Hope everyone is doing well, continuing your shopping. If you have not already gotten all that done, like myself, I have ordered the one thing online, and I'm taking suggestions at this point.
So you didn't get any shopping done yesterday?
None. Had an event.
Or you had a Christmas party?
Yeah, I had an event that I had to do, a Christmas party, which was great, and I'm glad I did it, but no. And then today, while I could probably have time to do it, I really don't feel like it. This is the first day that I don't really have anything, and I don't want to do anything.
I know you just kind of, and you look outside, and it really makes you not want to do anything.
Yeah, it doesn't really inspire me to go out and be amongst the mall shopping people.
I will say this is my least favorite time of year from a travel perspective because I live right by the summit, and it makes essentially doing anything or going anywhere between Thanksgiving and next week about impossible. So I do not enjoy that. I'm ready for that part.
I'm one of those people that adds to your misery there, living by the summit. I appreciate
that. Come say, hey, Pharaoh would love to see you.
Because I would love to see Pharaoh if he knew that I was coming.
That's right.
I knew that he wasn't going to attack.
That's right.
Pharaoh doesn't do well with strangers.
No, he does not.
I understand.
Especially men.
Okay. All right. Well,
he's only got room for one guy in his life, and it's me.
It's not Bucky. Give Pharaoh my best.
I absolutely will. But yeah, crazy to think 1 week from now it'll be Christmas and college football playoff in between now and then. So we got a lot to look forward to in the next week.
We do. We have a lot of college football we'll talk about as we lead into tomorrow's game, the Big Tilt. Hard to believe that it's finally here. We got some good news, though, from the Alabama front yesterday as far as their participation report and who's going to be available. And hallelujah, Josh Cuevas.
Yes, Josh Cuevas will be available, as will Danny Lewis. But Josh Cuevas, the big one there for Alabama. So we spent some time talking about it yesterday, but obviously what he does, and I mean, Kalen DeBoer said it himself yesterday when he made the announcement to the media, but it's not only what he does in the passing game, had a big game against Oklahoma the first time, but how he helps in the run game, how he helps as a blocker, pretty much everything that Alabama likes to do offensively in some way or another will flow through Cuevas while he's on the field. So that's a big one there for Alabama heading into tomorrow, which, I mean, it's still, you mentioned it, it's crazy to think that, I mean, we're, 33-ish, if my math's correct, hours away from kickoff between Alabama and Oklahoma. It seems like it's
I'm not going to do the math, but I'm trusting you.
Close enough. But yeah, it's crazy to think that we'll be there. But yeah, hopefully a good next 24 hours for Alabama. We'll get one final injury report tonight. But hopefully everything stays the same and both teams are relatively healthy.
To be quite honest with you, and just breaking down this game, and I said it felt like a month because we have been talking about Alabama, Oklahoma for a month,
literally,
going back to their regular season matchup. But the more I think about this, and I couldn't tell you. Somebody asked me the other day, who do you think wins that game? Right now, I couldn't tell you. It'd be a coin flip. But this morning, I'm starting to feel the Alabama vibe.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people that I've. Yeah, whether, podcast people, other media members, national media members, have started to kind of come around with some Alabama love after what happened in Atlanta. And I get it, right? It's hard to erase from your memory the last time that you saw Alabama play because it was bad. It was the worst they've looked all year. And I get it's hard to erase that. But I do also think it's reasonable to expect. Again, you look at that first game, and I kind of, I was thinking about it like this last night. You look at Georgia and Alabama the first time. That was a game that was so close. To be honest with you, Georgia probably should have won that football game, right? You had that big stop on 4th and 1. You had a dropped 50-yard touchdown for Georgia. Like, they had opportunities to win that game, but Alabama escaped with that win on the road. Kind of reminds me of what Oklahoma did and how they went in and won. Now, they made plays on defense to win that game and force turnovers, and I'm not saying Alabama's going to blow the doors off of Oklahoma, but we kind of saw how Alabama was, outside the turnovers, a much better team than Oklahoma was the first time they played. So maybe you kind of get that reverse back to the median at the turnover game, and if everything else holds the same for Alabama, or at least holds 80% of what you're able to do a month ago, probably in really good shape.
Well, you even look back, Conrad, at some of Alabama's wins. Is this a team that we've seen a whole lot of four-quarter performances out of?
No.
It's really not.
No.
Even in some wins you've had, well, they look really good in that half, but, oh, look what happened in this third quarter.
Maybe Tennessee would be the
because it wouldn't be the Missouri game.
No.
Because that was a game, that was a roller coaster.
The first quarter of the Vanderbilt game was awful.
It was awful.
LSU wasn't a four-quarter game. South Carolina certainly wasn't a four-quarter game. Georgia was a first-half game. You disappeared in the second half offensively.
Auburn, you go up 17-0, and then Auburn comes back ties the game. So
they had a 4-quarter performance against Georgia. They were bad for all 4 quarters.
Well, but that's what I go back to. And if you haven't seen it by now, do you see it? And that's why I've been kind of battling internally on who I like in this game. But just given the news, it's hard for me to imagine, and some of this is still residual Nick Saban effect. But it's hard for me to imagine Alabama coming out and looking that bad this setting.
Well, and something that I've heard people, kind of bring up, right, is this is, after they lost to Oklahoma the first time, that was a 2-point loss in a close game when you felt like you should win. But it wasn't like the Florida State loss where you had to respond after that because you looked so bad and the effort that was given by the team was so poor that you had to be you had to respond, and everybody had doubted them. Oh, this Alabama team, they'd be lucky to win 8 games this year. So now I kind of wonder, after that performance against Georgia, a lot of people, Alabama doesn't deserve to be in the playoff. They're limping in there. They're only in because of what they did 2 months ago. And that may be true, but you just wonder, right, does that motivation fuel them like it did after the Florida State game of, all right, everybody's kind of doubting that we should even be in this game playing in this situation. So let's go and kind of remind everybody that we can be a pretty good team. Now, we can't run the football, but everything else we can do at a high level when we're executing right. So the momentum and the motivation part of it should certainly be on Alabama's side, but it's also fair to say that this hasn't looked like a great team in 5 or 6 weeks now, and why would you think that would automatically change tomorrow?
If you break down, though, the college football playoff field, and you take out Tulane, you take out James Madison.
Yes.
You look at the rest of the field. How many of those teams do you think could be dominant and just convincing like we got with Georgia and Alabama in the championship? I'll say like Georgia. Georgia is that team that I think in a particular matchup they could dominate a team.
I was about to say, see, I go back to like last year and what Ohio State did to Tennessee in the first round, right? Yeah. Where we thought that was going to be a great game,
right?
And Tennessee was a good team, and they got annihilated. I think Georgia, I agree with you. I think Georgia, Ohio State, and Indiana are all capable of blowing teams out.
But the rest of the field, I don't see that.
And I'm
it's not like we're going to see a light switch from Alabama, and all of a sudden Alabama looks like that dominant team, and it's the fourth quarter, and you're seeing Keelan Russell come in and take garbage snaps.
Correct. And I'm not counting like Oregon and James Madison. Like I think Oregon will blow the doors off of James. That doesn't count.
No, we took James Madison and Tulane out.
Yeah. No, I think the top 3 seeds are the only teams that I could see, I guess, embarrassing somebody. Like really where you're like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe that they beat them that badly. But that's it. I don't see any of the other teams, just with the competition they would have to go up against.
What's interesting, and we're going to get into it later, but a national perspective and coaches that have either faced Alabama or they've just watched this Alabama team, anonymous coaches and college football experts, their views not only of Alabama but the field, and it's interesting just to see how they vary. And this guy doesn't think that Alabama's really that good. They limped into the playoffs, while this guy thinks that Alabama has all of the weapons that they need, and that could be that dark horse team to end up in the college football national championship. We'll get into all of that. We've got our Twitter poll question of the day at the number 3-man front. And Miss Molly Robinson, what does it read today?
Today's Pat Ponder's question is, what is the best team from the college football playoff era so far? Is it 2019 LSU, 2020 Alabama, 2022 Georgia, or 2018 Clemson? Right now, 2020 Alabama is winning with 65%. LSU is in second place with 30%. Georgia with 4%. And if my calculations are correct, 2018 Clemson has 0 votes.
Yeah,
this is tough. I feel like this is a 2-team race between 20 Alabama and 19 LSU.
And I thought when I made the poll question this morning, I thought about just putting them on there because obviously, yes, we knew it was going to be between those 2 teams at the top. I wanted to put 4 teams in there because I wanted to do more than just those 2.
And not knocking it.
No, it's just those other teams. I guess my question to y'all would be, is there a team that I maybe left out that you looked at and went, man, that was, whether it was one of the Ohio's, maybe the first year Ohio State or Michigan. I know the cheating, but maybe you thought they were really impressive. I went back and looked at the last 11 years. I thought these were the 4 best teams that we've seen in that stretch. Maybe
it's bias, and maybe it's just the way the offense looked. But that LSU team, the way that they were playing at the end of the season,
they're incredible.
That's who I voted for.
That was incredible.
LSU.
I think I would have them first. I would probably have Alabama second.
Yeah, I think
2020 Alabama.
I don't think you can go wrong with that. And look, there's arguments on both sides, right? Because some people look at the Alabama team and go, well, they had to play an all SEC schedule, which they did.
They did.
They played 10 straight SEC games and then played an SEC championship and then in the playoff. And that's really impressive. But I also understand the argument of, well, it was the COVID year, so you're not going into these environments that are loud and distracting like you would normally have to deal with normal road environments. So I can understand both of those things. Certainly, when we look at it from the NFL perspective, that 2019 LSU team, it blows everyone else out of the water. I mean, they have probably one of the top 3 quarterbacks and the 2 best receivers in the NFL right now were on that team. So I don't think you can go wrong with either one of those. I do think that is the best Alabama team I've ever seen in my life, though. Just in terms of Alabama, I think that's the best team that I've ever seen. There's a lot of really good ones.
The problem is when you pick Alabama, then you have to go back and you have to look at multiple teams. So the Saban era.
Well, and 2011 Alabama, right? That's maybe the other one that I would immediately think of.
But that was BCS.
Correct. And in today's day and age, that team would be so slow on right? It's hard to compare. Whereas the 2020 team, I think you could put them out there right now and they'd be maybe the best team in the country. So it's just kind of a different conversation. But we came up with that question because ESPN, they actually ranked all 64 college football playoff teams from the last 11 years from worst to best. And we'll get into that a little bit later and who they had at number 1 and who they have at the bottom and where this Alabama team ranks for this year's playoff as well. So.
Lots of college football talk centering around Alabama, Oklahoma. Rodney Ortider, Insider, is going to join us at 11. His customary spot, Rob Pate, at 11:45. Lots of fun stuff we'll get into. The text line is always open to you. 205-834-9450, 800-239-WJOX. Glad you're with us on a gloomy-looking Thursday on Jocks. Oh, yes, it is. 3-man front on this Thursday. Glad you're with us. Landrum, Conrad, and Molly. Alabama winner in basketball last night. UAB a winner in basketball last night. But what piqued my interest this morning to see that 7'9" Florida center Oliver Rue got his first field goal and he dunked it. How fitting for the 7'9" center for the Florida Gators. You know, I watched him on the sideline last year.
Yes.
And you thought he was standing up when he was sitting down. That's how tall this guy is.
Yeah, he's quite tall. He reminds me, it's like when Taco Fall played. You remember him a couple of years ago?
Yep.
He was a gigantic human being. It's just one of those guys, anytime he gets on a court, I want to have my eyes on him.
Manute Bol, I can remember watching him for the Bullets growing up. And the poster of Manute Bol and, was it Muggsy Bogues? And seeing just how tall Manute Bol was. And to think that this guy for Florida is 2 inches taller than Manute Bol blows my mind.
Yeah, it's absolutely remarkable. And
how long? I don't want to wish that on him.
I know, you just hope.
But anytime I see anybody 7'2" or above running up and down a court, I immediately think their leg's going to snap.
Yep. And you hope that he,
drinking a lot of milk.
You hope that never happens. But I mean,
a lot of calcium.
Let's be honest, like the human skeleton's probably not really meant to, there's a reason that we're not all that tall, right? You're probably not really meant to put that much stress on your bones. But
is that a special car that you're ordering?
I would think so.
What does he drive?
Well,
what does that NIL deal look like for
question.
Oliver Rue?
I feel like Shaq said that he, has had to have some custom cars because he's 7 feet tall. So I can't imagine you add almost another foot onto that.
What does that look like if you're on a motorcycle?
Imagine trying to
Are
take
your
a
knees
shower.
up by the?
That's a great question.
By the ear
think about how much he has to duck to take a shower.
I was about to say, a lot of people have 8-foot ceilings, 10-foot ceilings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's hitting ceiling fan.
Oh, absolutely.
He's already taken ceiling fan to the head.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But he can get all those Asian lady beetles off my ceiling.
Imagine
yes, he could.
being at Florida and let's say you have a class with him, sitting behind him in like a lecture hall. That would really suck.
Yeah. It'd be like the one rule. It's like, all right, then the coach is like, all right, when you go to class, you better be in the front row. Except you, Oliver, you got to sit in the back.
Sit in the back.
Sorry, buddy. Like,
think how clutch he would be though,
you.
coming over to your house and helping you put up Christmas decorations outside.
Absolutely.
So
you wouldn't need a ladder.
No.
So one of my friends in college, he was a reserve tight end on the football team in Alabama, but he was 6'11". I'm not kidding you. We would go out to the bars and he would pick up the waitresses and help them change the light bulbs in the bar. Obviously worked out very well for him with picking up ladies, but he would literally like if Molly was in there, he could pick her up with one hand and like hold her up there. They'd change the light bulb and pick them back down. I can't do that.
No.
And it's also very hard to compete when you're with that guy. It's like, oh, obviously everybody's going to want that attention. But I can only imagine that. And he wasn't even 7 feet tall.
Do you think really tall people that never played sports, they get tired of guys like me asking, hey, you played basketball, right?
Yeah, what'd you play?
Because that's my
Where'd you play?
I get that question all the time.
I'm sure you do. But I used to do that, and then I stopped doing it because I don't want to make – apparently I can make somebody feel really bad about themselves and their career choice. Like, yeah, my dad told me all the time that I needed to play basketball with a 6'11" frame, but I just wasn't into it. I was into the arts. So
my buddy had a shirt.
I'm struggling.
My buddy had a shirt that said, I'm 6'11" on it because everywhere we went, it's, how tall are you? And he just would wear the shirt and be like, that's how tall I am.
Well, Oliver Rue has recorded a point.
Woohoo!
Actually, 2 points is what they gave him.
Good for him.
Alabama, they win a basketball last night against former assistant. They score 100 again. That was good.
Yeah, they almost let USF score 100, though, which was not good. So it was, again, a win is a win, but it wasn't a particularly pretty performance from Alabama last night. So defense held up a little bit better in the first half. Alabama goes up 46-39. Did a better job of rebounding early in the game. You could tell that some of the messages that Nate Oates has been trying to send to his guys certainly resonated with them early, but at the end of the day, you do end up getting out-rebounded 46-45 by South Florida. And really the painful part of this game was if you watched the whole way through, it became a foul fest at the end of the game. You had 69 free throws in this game last night. It was absolutely absurd.
What was the foul number? Was it 52 total fouls?
52 total fouls called last night. It was an absolute ref show at the end. It drug on forever. But yeah, I mean, you walk out there with a win against a guy that obviously Brian Hodgson knows Nate Oates' system very well and probably knows how to throw some wrenches in that and make life difficult for him. But this is a game, if you're Alabama, you're just happy you walked away with a win. But you turn the ball over 14 times, you get out-rebounded, you shoot under 40% from three, you still made 13, so you can live with that.
And what's the status of London Jemison in the knee?
Yeah, he made that big three-pointer at the very beginning of the game, then he's out the rest of the way.
Yeah. Is he out the rest of the season?
Yeah. No, I don't know about that. I just meant the rest of the game last night.
They're trying to confirm left with a knee injury, and just by the instant comments, seems like it's going to be of some significance.
Yeah, the quote from Nate Oates last night was he has a knee injury, but we're hoping it's not too severe, so maybe we'll get further clarification on that today. But London Jemison here, I mean, he started over Bull Bowen because Bull Bowen had gotten some criticism for his lack of effort rebounding, and so London Jemison comes in, but Bull Bowen went in there and gave some good effort. But LeBaron Philon, man, you're lucky you have that guy. 29 points last night for Alabama, 10 of 15 shooting, 3 of 5 from deep, 7 assists to go along with that. Only the 1 turnover for Philon. And then Aiden Holloway, he adds 24 as well. Millette gives you 14. So your shooting guards came through for you big time last night, but that defense, the effort, the lack of physicality, that's going to be stuff that holds this Alabama team back moving forward. They're going to have to get better in those areas, but, a win is a win. You win by 11. Amari Allen didn't play. He's going to be fine, but you just hope London Jemison makes a quick recovery and gets back in action quickly because you have Kennesaw State this weekend.
Yes, you sure do. Meanwhile, Andy Kennedy, UAB Blazers, they get back on the winning side of things after the heartbreaking loss to Troy on Sunday. They knock off Cleveland State last night, 101-77. Chance Westry, his 31 leads the Blazers there past the Vikings of Cleveland State. Next up, you've got UNC Asheville coming up on the 21st for the Blazers. So we have all of that. We had college football bowl games.
Yep,
not everybody participating yesterday for South Florida. Alex Golish departed, trying to piece together a roster. They were able to do that, but unfortunately it was too much ODU.
Yeah, it wasn't a great day if you're a South Florida fan. They lose in basketball to Alabama, but gave a spirited effort. But unfortunately, I mean, you mentioned it, Landrum. This is a team, you lost your head coach, you lost a lot of your coaching staff, your star quarterback's not playing in the game. Like, you've got a lot of turnover that you're having to deal with in a very quick amount of time. Good to see Gaston Moore, though, the former Tennessee backup quarterback, getting the start last night for USF. But yeah, credit to Old Dominion. They get their 10th win of the season. They shut out South Florida in the second half, outscored them 17-0 in the second half after South Florida had a small halftime lead. But yeah, I mean, it was always going to be rough for South Florida with everything that they were having to deal with. But still a fantastic season and not knocking them for anything that happened. It's just kind of crazy. You go back, we were talking about it this morning on Morning Jocks. You remember the first 2 weeks of the season this year, some people were saying South Florida should be at like a top 5 team in the country because they had beaten Boise State and Florida, who were both ranked early in the season. Yeah. Then they were going for that highly anticipated game against Miami. Didn't work out super well for them. And then, they tripped up against Memphis and Navy along the way. But still a very nice season for South Florida, 9 wins. And now Brian Hartline going to be the new head coach there.
Yeah, also you had Delaware knocking off Louisiana 20-13 in that bowl game. Coming up this afternoon, or actually this evening, you got Missouri State. They're playing their coach. He just got a new gig. Missouri State's did. And they'll take on Arkansas State, who we know who they're coached by.
Yes, good old Butch Jones.
Champions.
I don't know if you saw this. I'll be honest with you. I did not watch the 68 Ventures Bowl last night. I'm sorry. I did not watch the Fighting Joe Flacco's get their victory last night. By chance, did you see what the quarterback for Louisiana, did you see his name? His name is Lunch. Lunch Winfield.
It's a great name.
It's a fantastic name. You got Lunch Winfield. You got Zylan Perry. You got Nick Mininucci. I mean, it was just a fantastic game last night when we're talking about names. But Lunch Winfield, the Louisiana quarterback's name. Gotta love that.
Lunch.
Never heard that one before. And he's from Lutcher, Louisiana. Lunch from Lutcher, Louisiana. How great is that?
I want to know the origin of the name.
I would love to know the origin of that name, but that is an awesome.
Is that when he was delivered? Is that when he was conceived? So many questions.
Where's Lunch? You're in the hospital and they just write it down on the birth certificate. I love it.
That is a great name. Lunch.
Awesome name.
It goes up there with Cavassier Smoke.
Oh, yeah. Some of the all-time greats.
Kid from here in the state of Alabama, played at Kentucky.
Absolutely.
Remember Cavassier?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Smoke Monday, that's another good one. A lot of great names in college football.
I think his real name, according to Google, is Dwayne.
It's lunch.
It's lunch.
It's a lunch.
I like lunch, too.
And Dwayne's a fine name, but lunch, that gets your attention. We've talked about Louisiana and lunch now for a minute.
This is a random thing here. Did you know that Julio Jones' name is not actually Julio Jones while we're on crazy names? Because I saw a podcast. Richard Sherman was doing a podcast yesterday. He was talking about the best receivers that he faced in the NFL, and he was talking about Julio. And
please tell me it's really James Earl.
No, it is not. His name is Quintorris. I never knew that. I thought his name was just Julio Jones. His name is Quintorris Lopez Jones. Julio's just a nickname.
Did not know that.
I didn't either. I thought a lot of people probably didn't know that.
Julio's an awesome nickname, though.
Yeah, it is, but Quintorris, that's a cool name. Never heard that one before. That's a cool name. That just blew my mind because he's talking about Julio Jones. He's like, yeah, I was going up against Quintorris, and everyone's like, what?
I don't see Lunch as Dwayne, and I don't see Julio as Quintorris.
Nope. Lunch and Julio, those are the names. We're sticking with them.
That's right.
It's just funny how one person's nickname is Julio and the other one's is Lunch.
What's not funny when it comes to bowl games is what head coaches are having to deal with. You're going to get kind of a behind-the-scenes gripe from one head coach. He lays it all out there, the nature of college football and what it doesn't look like. That's next on Three Man Front. 10:31, three-man front. Here on this Thursday, Rodney Orr of Tighter Insider coming up at the top of the hour. Lots of college football news that we need. Whoa. That sound means there's breaking news here on Three-Man Front. And for more, let's send it over to Stomples McSnifflesniff. One Conrad Van Order.
Thank you,
You like that one?
I do. That was fantastic. Thank you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. We have breaking news out of the transfer portal here in the SEC as another SEC starting quarterback, Landrum, has entered their name into the portal, and that is Bo Pribula from Missouri.
No, say it ain't so, Bo.
Yeah, Pete Nako's reporting that he will enter the transfer portal, and Matt Zollers will start at quarterback for Missouri in the Gator Bowl against Virginia coming up in the next few days. But yeah, Bo Pribula, another SEC quarterback, heading for potentially greener pastures. Maybe we talked about in the break, maybe a little bit, who knows? Maybe kick the tires on a return to Happy Valley.
If Ty Simpson comes back, is that a good spot for him, given yesterday's conversation?
Missouri?
Yeah.
Sure.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I could see it.
I don't know. Transfer portal's crazy.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is, and it's only going to continue to get crazier. And for that, we thank them because it gives us a lot of great stuff to talk about each and every day here on the show.
UTSA head coach Jeff Traylor voicing his frustration. He lays it out, and this is kind of the reel on the reel of how it's affecting college football programs like his.
We'll be a shell of ourselves, but whoever we got out there, we're going to go out there and play the best we can. It's just the numbers so big, and with all the tampering, all the agents, it's coaches too, it's all of them. Our kids are being numbered they're being promised such incredible numbers. They're getting lured into the portal. I just hope all the things those coaches and agents are promising they're going to do for my kids. I really hope so. And I hate it because I really want to coach them in a bowl game, but they're getting leveraged out of it. Their agents are telling them if they got to not play in the bowl and they'll get this number if they don't play in the bowl, so it's ridiculous. I hate what's going on with college football. I just think the numbers has gotten so large. You're talking about teams that have $26 million to $40 million, and the number's just too big. And who knows if they're being told the truth? It's sad. It really is sad. I never thought we'd be, punished for making a bowl game by being leveraged. That if you don't give them this certain number, they're not going to play in the bowl. It's like I have just woke up in another world as compared to where we were 6 years ago. The last time we went to the First Responders Bowl, how many of our guys now would show up at 5 a.m. to get 3 nurses to stick Q-tips in your nose so you could practice that day? And now we're opting out because you don't get a certain number or you're not playing the bowl. It's sad what we're doing to kids. It really is, and I hate it.
That's a very telling statement.
Yeah, the line at the end about what kids had to go through 5 years ago just to play college football during COVID, and now you've got guys that...
Conrad, now there would be some that would want to get paid to take a test.
Oh, yeah.
That's where we are.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Not with all, but with some.
I think you're spot on.
It would blow our listeners' minds. It would blow our listeners' minds. And that's kind of a sample. And maybe it wouldn't at this point. Maybe our listeners, they know that it's as upside down as we do. But these kind of stories, even more egregious stories. And he said, I hope that they're doing right by these kids. I heard an example last year of a kid. He had decided he was going to go. He was stepping up from non-Power 4 to a Power 4 program. Very prominent Power 4 program that is in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Goes there. He's talking with his former coaches because he's still in good standing with and they want the best for him.
Yeah.
They know the deal, whatever. They say, hey, just so we can make sure that they're doing right by you. Not the school, your agent. Let us look at the paperwork. We'll look at the paperwork for you just to make sure that they're not leaving anything
out. Very
out.
Nice of them, yeah.
Very nice of them. They go over the paperwork. They see that the agent has put in there how the language read, not sure. Yeah. But it's basically 20% is that what this agent was going to get out of what this kid was going to get.
20%?
Yeah, forget about taxes. Just 20% coming out of that. Normal agent, I think, is 3, 4, maybe 5%.
I was about to say, I'm looking.
In some cases, kid had no idea. Kid had not, kid's not an attorney. He's not in contract law. He hadn't read over it thoroughly. He's got a million other things that he's got to do before making that move gets up there. So this is what happens. Coach from former staff calls current head coach who is getting this player, lets him know what's going on. He looks over the contract. He sees it, says this is wrong. What is going on? Tells the agent to blankety blank, 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 get out of the building. They restructure the contract, new representation. Kids
and got
good.
them taken care of.
But these are the kind of things that are going on.
That's insane. I just looked it up right now. In the NFL, which we compare the NFL and college football all the time now, the maximum an agent can make off of a contract is 3%. That's the max. That was 20%.
There's no guidelines. There's no guardrails.
Well, and
where we are now.
Well, and let's be honest,
and
right?
A lot of these kids, they don't even care. Some of them
Correct.
don't think it's that important.
Correct.
Whatever. I'm going to get my deal. I got my swag. I'm going to this school. I'm going to get all kinds of playing time, and they're not reading the fine print. Nor should they be expected to. But you've got a lot of rogue guys and guys that don't have the best interests of these student athletes at heart, trying to make a quick buck, and they're doing it in a lot of cases.
Well, and I'm sure, you've got, for example, maybe one school's offering you 1.5 and another school's offering you 1 million, and you go, well, why would I not go to the 1.5? But you don't read the fine print like you're talking about, and that 1.5 is suddenly less than you would have gotten at the other school, but you weren't paying attention to the exact language and it's awful, and I think we all know the reality of it is, right? You have a lot of kids, they're 18, 19 years old, they're not financially literate, they maybe don't have people in their life that know how to manage money, and these people are taking advantage of. I mean, you see it in the professional level, you see it in the music industry, you see it all these different places, and now it's just coming to college football, and it's really, really sad. But I mean, like that example you gave, what Jeff Traylor's talking about, like I hope and pray that the majority of coaches are genuinely making sure that the kids are being taken care of. But I'm sure there's a lot of cases where that's not their concern, right? They're just worried about fielding a roster and all the other things in the world. They don't have time to worry about.
And if it's not going to change, and you hear Traylor talking about that, whether we're talking about the future of bowl games and how to incentivize guys, should we do that? Should that be a part of the contract?
Mm-hmm.
Should putting that in place? Or is the conversation more of, okay, he mentioned the $26 to $40 million that some programs have, and it's not right. Is it time to start talking more of that separation?
Well, and that's a conversation we had, a little over a week ago about maybe it's, probably not the worst idea for the college football playoff in the group of 5 to split, because we all agree Tulane and James Madison, it's great that they're going to go and make their money to be in the playoff, but they're not going to be competitive, right? And so.
Do you have a separate portal time if you're a non-Power 4 school and you're on one of those rosters where that certain portal, if you're going to jump up to a Power, I don't know.
But I mean, you got to think, right? If you're James Madison, and you've got, like, their running back is a great player, right? Let's say, like, in that situation that he was getting offered by, Auburn or something, whatever, a big-time SEC program. Well, for him, do you want to go play in the college football playoff, or do you want to go ahead and enter the portal now and get your $1.5 million, whatever it is, and you're giving up on a chance to play in a playoff because you're looking forward to the next year? It's awful. I'm not a big fan of it. But, if this is what it takes to get that separation, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world, because I do think that ultimately that's where we need to go.
Yeah, the uglier side of college football, once again, getting exposed, put into the spotlight by a coach, participating in a bowl game next Friday.
So I wanted to get your thoughts on this. So, because we just heard the 26 to 40 million number, whatever he threw around, for roster costs. Let's say the group of 5 did separate and do their own playoff system. What do you think would be a fair cap for the group of 5? 5 million? Is 10 million too much? I would think 10 million might be too much for some of those programs. I'm just in terms of, to give a comparison of what we're looking at with, 20 to 25 seems to be the average in Power 4. What in group of 5 do you think it would be? 5 million?
As far as to dedicate to your roster?
Yeah, well, like how we have the $20.5 million cap or whatever it is,
right,
in the Power 4. What do you think that would look like in the group of 5?
I mean, maybe half of it.
Half of that? So 10?
10?
Just to kind of even the playing field to where
yeah,
even
and
there
it does,
you don't have
but even there's such a giant gap even with a group of 5s.
For like a South Florida,
with an operating budget of $110 million. Meanwhile, School X is operating at $42 million.
Exactly.
There's one that is the lowest budget in all of FBS, and it's Louisiana Monroe, and it's $23 million is what they're operating on. Not their football, their entire athletic department.
And that's less than a lot of SEC schools are probably spending on their roster for their football team next year.
Well, and that's why you saw the Ahmad Hardys, a lot of those players
absolutely.
from that ULM team from a year ago. They didn't have a chance to save those guys. This offensive lineman could have been in going to be a third stringer at a non-Power 4 school, but getting $100,000 just to show up, grab the team gear, and be on the roster.
Yep.
Didn't even start this year, but would have been a starter where he came from. But you can't match the $100,000 that so-and-so wants to have him just in case one of their guys get hurt. It's upside down. I don't know if there's any short-term solution. It's going to have to be at a federal level.
Yeah, and you just wonder how long it'll take for, I mean, we've been at this for what, 4 or 5 years now, really, with the portal and NIL and everything kind of getting underway.
When it screws up enough programs that matter, I think that's when we'll get change enacted. Yeah. When the programs that truly matter to those folks and whoever can make these decisions, when it starts turning upside down for them, that's when it gets their attention, in my opinion.
See, and it feels like it's probably going to be a while before, because right now, like if you're Texas and you're the boosters of Texas or A&M or Ohio State or Georgia or whoever, like you're riding high right now. But my question would be 10 years from now, are you still willing to make that financial commitment every single year, or has that burden finally started to catch up with you? And that's maybe what you're talking about, where that's when change finally comes, but it seems like that would take longer.
It's not that big of a deal until it happens to you, right?
Great point.
Yeah. Tighter Insiders, Rodney Orr at the top of the hour. We got open for phone calls. A lot of your texts rolling in as well. The Thursday rolls on here on Jocks. 10:46 three-man front. In case you missed it, former Alabama quarterback A.J. McCarron, who had planned to run for lieutenant governor before stepping away from that yesterday, has been named the head coach of the Stallions, replacing our friend Skip Holtz, who led the team to multiple championships. That would be back-to-back-to-back.
Yes, back-to-back-to-back. Absolutely fantastic job that Skip Holtz did. He was a weekly guest on this show, and we loved getting to know Coach Holtz and talk to him each and every week, and just a fantastic football mind, but also a great guy, and wish him luck in whatever is next for him. And hopefully A.J. McCarron can put some juice back into the Stallions and get them back to a championship. And hopefully the Birmingham locals will rally around the former Alabama quarterback and go and make this a great year to remember at Protective.
A story from yesterday, we had the news of one Brian Smith, the one-year head coach at Ohio, being suspended and then ultimately being fired for cause yesterday. Conrad, you followed up on the story. I did as well. And then we start getting the details of why he was fired. While not terrible, I don't know what to make of this. I was like you. The first time I read what they were actually firing him for, thought that there's got to be something more that they're not telling us.
Yeah, so if this is actually all that it is, I'll just go ahead and say this is a weak move by Ohio. I'll just say that. If this is what is reported is truly the reason they're letting him go. But the reports that came out yesterday were that the head coach at Ohio had apparently, I guess, told somebody else, another staffer, somebody that worked there within the athletic department, that he had alcohol that he would store inside of his desk. And he shared that occasionally after a game, him and some of the coaching staff after the game would go to his office and have a single drink of bourbon together as like a victory. Hey, great job, great week of preparation. Let's go and have a drink and celebrate in the office. And that was that. And according to reports, that is why they fired their head coach, because he would occasionally have a single drink in his office with his coaching staff.
All right, let's switch to Cameron and Molly, because as you're reading through that, I'm watching her expression. And I've seen that respect. And it was not the laughing expression. It was the way I interpreted your facial expression was, I don't buy that that's all it was.
No, because there's no way he's the only college football head coach that does something like that also.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, what percentage of coaches do you think do that? Like 75% of them probably?
I don't.
There's no way he's the only one.
It's not like, and who knows, maybe it's further than that, but it's not like you're getting plastered in your office every day and then going to lead practice. Like,
yeah.
You're having a victory drink.
Yeah.
With your coaching staff.
This is not like one particular head coach that is not in this state. He's not a head coach anymore that he had to have his drink right after he came off the sideline. Like post-game, had to have his fresh drink ready to go before press conference.
It's a little different.
Yeah. So
that's when we're talking about a functional alcoholic, right, as opposed to a guy that wants to celebrate with his coaching staff and have a bourbon drink after a win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you want the official report from The Athletic, they were able to obtain part of his personnel file, Brian Smith's personnel file at Ohio. It says he met on November 24th with Ohio Athletic Director Slade Larsheed and other administrators to discuss an allegation that he had violated not just the school's policy, but his contract as well. And in that meeting, that is where he acknowledged that he had stored alcohol in his desk drawer, which him and the coaching staff would occasionally celebrate a victory with afterwards. And according to Ohio University's employee policy, it is prohibited to use, possess, manufacture, or distribute drugs and alcohol or be under the influence of drugs or alcohol while in the workplace or in university vehicles and equipment while on duty. Brian Smith noted in the meeting that he and others were never under the influence of alcohol and it never affected their performance. It was simply
bottom line
drink.
is if they told you, look, this is unacceptable, don't let it happen again, it's grounds for termination, and he continued to do it, then it's on him. As petty as you may think it is, as much as you disagree with it,
rules are rules.
Rules are rules.
I get it.
And if they were that serious about it and they told you about it, you continued to do it, then you have to suffer the repercussions. But
yeah, I agree with that.
Something seems like it is missing out of this story.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that. Either there's something worse going on, and this is just kind of their explanation, or
we have coaches that have kept their jobs. They've suffered
for much worse,
but for getting a DUI during the season.
One of those guys is coaching in the college football playoff. 2 of them, actually. But yeah, no, I agree. It's crazy, but hopefully he's able to go and land on his feet somewhere else. But if that really is why they fired him, I think that's ridiculous. But
it is.
Teach their own.
Also, some more transfer portal news. Bo Pribula, the Missouri quarterback, announced he goes into the portal, but also locally, another Auburn player has announced he's going to the portal.
That is correct. Moments ago, according to Hayes Fawcett and On3 Sports, Auburn defensive lineman Malik Blockton has announced that he is planning to enter the transfer portal. He spent the last 2 years on the plains of Auburn, played in all 12 games this year, started 8 of them, and he will end his Auburn career with 33 total tackles and a pair of sacks.
Don't know what that looks like, but his position is one of a lot of need for
He's
a lot of people. And if someone needs one guy, he's going to get paid.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, defensive line is certainly going to be a highly sought after position yet again. And, a guy that if you're Auburn, you'd probably like to retain, but it may be a situation like you're saying where, you're getting told that you're worth this amount of money. Well, we're looking at the production we got from you. That doesn't really add up with your asking price. But hey, if school X, Y, or Z is going to give it to you, best of luck.
Your starting salary, air quotes, according to the market as a transferred defensive lineman, especially interior, your starting salary is higher than the other positions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Malik Blockton, is this a start of a negotiation with the Auburn NIL folks, or putting yourself out there where you're listening to offers? I would think a little bit of both.
Well, probably so, but I would think that, for a guy like Malik Blockton, bare minimum, you're probably looking at least $500,000, I would think, if not more than that.
Yeah. Because just a couple of years ago, it was $400,000 was a starting point.
Yeah.
For a power 4D line.
Mm-hmm.
Even a mid-tier guy.
Well, I was about to say, and you can say, hey, I played 2 years at Auburn in the SEC. Pretty good defense this year. Again, he's a nice player, so he'll make some money somewhere, whether it's on the plains coming back or elsewhere.
Quickly, let's go to Joe in Hoover. Hey, Joe, welcome in a 3-man front.
Hey, guys. Great show as always. I heard the comment about the guy getting fired for alcohol in the office or whatever, so I'm going to try to keep this a little vague. I worked for a large bank based out of here in Birmingham in Atlanta, and it was a big branch. I managed for them, and there was a boardroom upstairs. There was liquor in that boardroom. So, this guy getting fired for that, it doesn't make sense.
No.
There's got to be more to it.
Yeah, I would think so. Like who was I don't even know where to start. It's hard to imagine though. And here's the thing. They were good this year. It's not like they fell on their face.
The deal is it's 4 calls. So you look up under any rug and you can find 4 calls.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, there had to be something else behind it. Maybe we'll get the details. Joe, thank you for sharing. Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Unless you're LSU and Brian Kelly, and you now have to pay him all that money.
Or if you're Brian Harsin, there's been countless other examples as well.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Rodney Orr, Tider Insider, latest injury update from Tuscaloosa, previewing the game versus Oklahoma tomorrow night. The opener, we get it all started with the college football playoff. Rodney of Tider Insider joins us next.